Okay, this video is the human life cycle, what matters, and the painting here is a series of paintings by Thomas Cole for the Voyage of Life. You are the voyager through the river of life, and it begins in springtime. Coming out of the birth canal, the waters are smooth because Mama is there, the guardian angel, to protect everything. God the Father provided for you, and everything is there. It's as good as it gets. It's springtime. The sun is rising. And Thomas Cole was a member of the Hudson River School of nature painters, religious painters. I would classify his style, and it has been classified by others, as romantic, portraying the nobility of man, and Ayn Rand wrote fantastic articles about that, the romantic style of literature, as Victor Hugo is to literature, and Les Mis, for example. A realist in terms of trying to depict nature very precisely, and this is reminiscent of the Pre-Raphaelite school in England. What else does one notice here? Mama, the guardian angel, is steering the rudder. Health. I've got other videos about, breastfeeding. Well, actually not specifically breastfeeding, but with regard to protein and with regard to baby formulas, and also videos on academics and, dealing with attention deficit, that sort of thing. It gets more interesting when we get to middle age. Okay, the next painting in the series of the Voyage of Life series by Thomas Cole is Youth, and they're all painted in 1842. So Youth is the young man, and he's full of energy, waving bye to Mama. He's not even looking at Mama as she waves to him, and he's headed towards his castle in the sky, his future utopia where everything is the way he wants it. And when he looks out, he sees a straight path to his dream of success, and the waters are smooth. But in reality, he's headed for a curve, and things are going to get pretty rough soon enough. Young men have sort of, it's a pleasant, a charming, high level of confidence. They're physically strong. They got high testosterone. They think they're immortal. They feel like an unlimited potential at this age, and all of that is good. That's partly what enables them to do as much as they do. What else? Some stupid things I see young men doing all the time is they have a tendency to put cell phones in their front pockets, microwaving their testicles, lowering their testosterone. They're kind of being psychologically feminized by popular culture. They have a tendency to like lifting weights, which is normal. I think they're trying to build themselves up to go with the men. That's what they're programmed to do. I think women have relatively small shoulders and limited physical strength in comparison to the men. Just strong enough to control a boy until he hits puberty and he goes off with the men to hunt and to do whatever men do, so to speak. And they all, practically every young guy I've ever met in my life, loves lifting weights, okay? But they're trying to cheat nowadays and take protein supplements and creatine and other stuff, which I think is a very bad idea, potentially damaging their kidneys. I've seen that many times. Also, processed food is very feminizing with the soy, very high in estrogens. Flax is really high in estrogen, but soy is subsidized. So is corn, which is sprayed with atrazine. It's a feminizing estrogenic herbicide. Glyphosate is has feministic properties, meaning estrogenic properties. All these deodorants and moisturizers and chemicals and soaps and shampoos, almost all of them tend to have estrogen conditioners. I sort of notice that, and I say it to young men. They pretty much always ignore me, think, oh, you're an old guy, what do you know? Other issues with healthy young guys, they got to watch out for head trauma. A lot of young guys are injured by head trauma from playing sports like football, boxing, skiing, rugby. A lot of them are drinking alcohol, causing brain damage from that. With smoking MJ, opioids, if they get on pain pills and that messes up their lives, or they get messed up by having depression and then being put on pills long term for that, or other things. So anyways, those are some of the common issues with men. Again, the key part of this talk is going to be middle age coming up. Okay, so here it is. This is my favorite of the paintings by Thomas Cole from the Voyage of Life series. This is middle age. So here is the guy in the boat, and he's lost his rudder for steering. He's headed over the rapids, which are rocky. The hourglass is held by the lady at the front of the boat. And this picture is full of clever little tricks. If you look closely at the clouds, they're like these sinister demon-like figures, converging upon the poor guy. And so middle age guys get hit with a whole bunch of problems they didn't see coming. Quite often, all of a sudden, the wife has a temper tantrum, wants to divorce them, and they think, well, I was a good father, and they walk into the divorce system expecting to come out of it okay, and they just get crushed. The divorce system is designed to turn men into slaves. I mean, it just is. He has to give her all this money, and he loses his house. He doesn't get her anymore in his bed, and he just gets totally screwed by the process. I've known doctors bankrupted of all their family savings, lose their house, lose their college savings, all in the whole divorce system. It's really devastating. Rough on the kids, too. Plus, often at this age, something goes wrong for them at work, and they maybe get fired from their job, etc. And it can be very difficult for guys to sort of deal with that. Also, guys watch too many, childhood fairy tale lovey-dovey movies where they walk into the sunset and everything's perfect. And marriage is not like that. Like, oh, we're going to share everything 50-50. Yeah, right. In my experience, everything is 100% zero. Both partners trade off on what they want to do and what they're good at, and you don't share anything, because if you share anything 50-50, in my experience, it always ends up 60-40, then somebody's annoyed it's not 50-50, and it kind of tends to, at least in my experience, go 100-0 on whatever people agree on. What else is interesting about this picture? Okay, guardian angel mama is now farther away. The hourglass is half empty. Talked about the rudder on the boat being broken. He's praying, oh God. He's coming to a fork in the road. One set of rapids going this way, another one goes off this way. The path less taken, as Robert Frost would say. And he's, praying, help me pick the right path, man. I would define middle age, as when you guy's married and he's commuting to work, approximately. And this is the make it or break it age. And the reason why I say this is the main part of this talk, well, of course, I wanted to show off these beautiful paintings by Thomas Cole, but the reason this is the main part of the talk is that usually young guys, they ignore you. No matter what you tell them, they think, you're old, what do you know? They think old people don't know anything, and they know they're strong and healthy, so they ignore you. But middle age, all of a sudden, the guy's seen some of his friends have myocardial infarctions, becoming impotent, etc., committing suicide because of divorce, all these things. So that's when guys sort of say to themselves, whoa, maybe I need to really get my act together. And because of that, you sometimes have a chance to help these guys. I mean, most people are basically hopeless. They're not willing to learn. They're not willing to change. So you can't help them, and they just crash and burn. People don't age well in this country. That's a big myth that, to say you're normal is very bad. Normal in my experience for the average American male, in middle age to me is fat, pre-diabetic, diabetic, fatty liver, sick, cognitively weak, functionally illiterate. You don't want that. You want to be way above average, okay? But this is such a big deal because these are the guys who you have a chance to save. If they could wake up and start eating healthy and having other good habits, they could have their whole life turned around. Instead of dying, of miserable complications in their 60s, they could, live to 90 and be healthy, under ideal turnarounds. Okay, so now we come to the last of the 4 paintings in Thomas Cole's Voyage of Life series. This is old age. So there's nothing going on but the rent. The waters are smooth. There's not a lot happening in the scenery. One guardian angel is taking him up to a better place. His home in the sky. And, I've seen old people, if they can stay healthy, they can be very happy. My parents were very happy in their older years when they were healthy. Once they got too sick, of course, that diminished their enjoyment of their old age. And again, the most important thing for aging well is to stay healthy, so you don't have to lose all your money on the health system. And also because what I've seen is people get mildly cognitive impaired. It's pretty routine that they get ripped off. I've been amazed how often I've seen that. My friends, when their fathers are mildly cognitive impaired, they're losing their savings for retirement. They get ripped off a lot. Okay, people this age too, in my experience, it's harder to help the patient because a lot of them just have a fatalistic attitude. Oh, well, I love my ice cream. You want to take that away from me? At my age, what are you going to do? So anyways, you do what you can to help them. And some of them, the ones that actually do change, can make remarkable progress. They can lose tons of weight and really dramatically improve their health. I got tons of videos on healthy aging. So anyways, hope that was interesting.